Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear us and you can see us as we move through into our wonderful Monday night natter this evening. This week we have got a very exciting evening planned for you. We are sneaky peeking a brand new collection. Oh, it's rather lovely, and I think you might fall in love with this. I'll tell you more as we go through the evening, but I personally have so truly enjoyed this collection that is being brought to you tonight by Sue Wilson. It's kind of, and I'll tell you more about this later, I suppose, but this is kind of Sue at her absolute finest, and it's something I don't think we've seen from Sue for a little while. And to say it's kind of like going home creatively and going back to something I was really pleased with what I made. We'll chat more when we kind of go through samples and bits. I'm telling you more than I should be already. But to say I'm excited about bringing you this collection is an understatement. It is quintessential Sue at her finest, and I think you're going to fall in love with it if you are a Sue Wilson fan. Now, before we go into the new collection and start teasing you too much, we do have to do some little bits, don't we? First of all, we have to check in with our person in the corner, who is, as always, our Peter. So let's jump on over and say good evening to Peter. Good evening, Pete.
What the introduction, wasn't it? Every evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Are we all okay? Hope you've had a good day.
What's that? Person in the corner?
Well, I don't know. It was quite an introduction, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was a build-up, wasn't it?
A build-up.
Build-up.
Did you want to go ta-da out of a box or something?
Are we? What Monday are we? We're not Marriage Guidance Monday. What are we? I don't know.
Oh, we should do a Marriage Guidance Monday.
We normally end up there, don't we? Have we all had a good day? What have we been up to? Been up to much?
What have we been up to?
I think that I'm going to get told off.
Why are you going to be told off?
I'm taking your questions.
Oh, no, it's fine. No. It was the other night when you started doing all the hellos that was a bit overstepping. But you can stick with your Marriage Guidance Monday. We'll have that. We don't mind that. Before he does interfere too dearly, let's just check in and see who we've got joining us this evening, shall we? Good evening, Kim. Good evening, Kathleen. Good evening, Lynn. Good evening, Emma, Joyce, Natalie, Deborah, Alison, Sue. Lovely to have you all with us. Thank you very much for giving us your Monday evening once again. As I say, tonight should be a really special evening actually, because we are sneaky peeking the brand new collection from Sue Wilson. I think you're going to really like this. I'm really excited to share it with you, and I always think that's a really nice place to be from our side. We see a lot of products, but if we're excited, hopefully you're going to see why and join in with our hubble and bubble as we go through it. Now, the collection we're going to be sharing with you this evening, this is going to be on Gwen's shows on Saturday. So these are Saturday shows at 1 PM and 5 PM with Gwen. Now, I'll try and remind you of this as we go throughout the evening. We've had some extra shows added. So you're going to have me again on Friday on Hobby Maker, I'm afraid. I know, you're going to be sick of us soon, aren't you? But we're stepping in on Friday to do a couple of shows, and I will be there at 3 PM and 6 PM, bringing you more inspiration with a Cuddly Clan and the gardening collections from jamierodgerscrafts, of course. So Friday shows will be 3 and 6. Gwen will be with you on Saturday with this brand new collection from Sue Wilson. So I know we're teasing you. You cannot get this anywhere till Saturday, and then it will launch exclusively with Hobby Maker on Saturday. I'll take you through all the times and that a little bit later on. But one bit I do want to let you know of is on Thursday, there will not be a Facebook Live. We've only just decided, so sorry for all the guides and that haven't yet been updated, but the times have come through for our Friday shows, and I'm going to have to be in a car heading up to the studios on Thursday evening. So there will not be a Thursday night natter this week, but instead you will have 2 hours of us on Hobby Maker on Friday, and then you'll have 2 hours of Gwen on Saturday. So you're not going to be lonely or bored or missing us, I'm sure, because we're going to be chocking out the Hobby Maker schedule as we do for the weekend to hopefully bring you lots and lots of inspiration. So then, let's delve on in, shall we? And I'll take you through all the times and bits again later on, but I want to share with you Sue's collection. I know you like to see your new bits, so let's jump on in and have a little look at the first new item, shall we? So don't forget, these are going to be launching exclusively on Saturday. Now we're going to do an overview of the collection, and then we're going to take you through samples because I want you to see all of it in its entirety, and then we'll go through what you can create with it. So this is the first die set. This is Budding Blooms. This one is $15.99 is the recommended retail price for you. And this is one die. As you can see, it's cut into this beautiful oval, and it is these beautiful flowers that can be used truly in any direction, whether we wish to go landscape or horizontal, portrait, whatever you may call it, whatever it may be, whether you wish to double layer them, triple stack them, turn them into frames, whatever you want to do with these are such fun floral panels that can be built up. You'll see this with samples later. I kind of like them this way with a little butterfly in the middle, but I really like them this way with a little stamped sentiment or a little die cut sentiment on that area. Or if you put two back to back, that works really nicely too. So lots of fun ways in which you can get creative with this panel. Size wise for you, 5.5 inches by 4.1 is your guide. Then we move on and we're sticking with this, but don't fear, this isn't a whole collection of these panels. There's just 2 of these in this release. The next one is the Elegant Florals. Now this one, again, beautiful roses at the base, moving up into flowers coming around the sides, can of course be used as a portrait, can of course be used as a landscape, and just like before, can be kind of married up to make much different patterns across your creations if you wish for it to. Size-wise on this one, 4.2 inches by 5.5. Now I'm going to go out of scope slightly, but I want to share these with you. These are like the most cutest, dinkiest little dies I think we've ever bought you. Just so you know, by the way, that panel that we just looked at, the Elegant Florals, recommended retail price, that one's also $15.99. Now Sue has also done us these cute little corners. Look at these! These are the Frames and Tags collection rose corner, and we've got one rose and then we've got kind of a flourishy corner. And I'm bringing these in at this stage because I know whenever I'm working with an oval, I like something filigree to go in the corner, and Sue has certainly thought of that with these 2 dinky little corner elements. These are the perfect sizes to being added around those corners, whether you go for the rose or more of the flourish design. And that little set is just $4.99 recommended retail price for those 2 corners, for you to be able to cut those out and to kind of layer them around your designs. Now I mentioned that Sue has gone back to the wonderful world of Sue, and I truly mean that. You know, when you talk of a designer, when you talk of an artist, when you talk of anybody who's sort of creative, they usually have a signature, don't they? Whether that's an apple pie from Martha Stewart or a particular type of music that Rod Stewart sings, it doesn't really matter, does it? We all have our signatures. And to me, this is one of Sue's. These kind of Frames and Tags collections really are where, to me, I see Sue in her happy place. And when I get creative with her products, is one of my happy places, because of these dies are going to do all the heavy lifting for us, and they're going to create stunning effects. And this is Harper. This is the brand new Harper die. There are 6 dies within Harper's set. It's a recommended retail price of $14.99. And when we always talk about these kind of dies, we could do you boards the size of billboards and still not cover all of the options. But in short, you have outlines that you can layer up. You then have filigree panels, and you have filigree panels without the outside edges attached. So you can choose whether you cut them in or cut them out, is what we're trying to show you here. So you can cut them and layer them, like Laura's done for this board here. So lattice and then pierced and then our patterned. Or here, Laura's chose to leave out those outside edges, and she's gone for filigree, pierced, lattice, all in one outside edge. And then here, Laura's just showing you how you've got those different edges to layer up. But of course, we could have cut the middle out of this and had it as a frame if we wish. We could have just used that lattice. We could have cut just the lattice in with that outside edge and left out the piercing. You get the idea. There is literally loads and loads and loads of options with a die set like that. So that one's Harper. Then we move on and jump in with any questions you've got here. And Pete, if you do have any questions, do just yell. And I promise inspiration's coming, but I just want you to see the overview of all of this collection before we kind of bamboozle you for what you can create with it. Then we move on to Jane. Jane has 7 dies, and it's the second one of these kind of layering dies that Sue has done for you in this collection. And this is what I really love. There's kind of a bit of a different set of themes going on. We've kind of got the floral panels, we've got the frames and tags, we've got the corners, And there's one set I haven't yet even bought in yet. So this is, of course, Jane. Jane has 7 dies, just like when we was looking at Harper. These open up lots of different options for you. So if we look actually on the reverse of Jane to begin with, you will see that there is a pierced detail with a cut line on the inside. That is great for creating this pierced element running round, which creates an aperture on the inside of it, which these panels can then be cut into and built up on top if you wish to, or sunk into. You've of course got the solids once again, so if you want those layers to build up with or to cut out each of these different components, you've got them available. On this one on the board, Laura's chose to show you how actually if you cut all of them together, you're going to get one smooth, delicate die cut panel. Or if you prefer, you can intermix between these layers and build them up like she's created on this panel here. So a solid white, then a black lacy, then a solid black with a white lacy, and then a solid or a lacy black on top of that. Just showing you how you can build up these effects. Now, whether you choose to put dimension between them or leave them flat is up to you. And then what you're going to also notice is that both of these panels, they're not necessarily matching, but they do coordinate in quite a few ways. So these smaller areas certainly can be built up on top of these bigger areas if that's something you would like to do. And it kind of does work quite nicely as a set, not intended as a set, no exact matching, but they do kind of cross over and work nicely together. Then we have 3 more dies to introduce you to, and these are rather delicious. We have got the Rose Cluster die set. This one is $13.99, and as you can see, it is a beautiful cluster of roses that really kind of have that look of kind of cuddling or kind of opening up an area for you to put your other dies within. So for instance, if you think I've lost the plot, I mean that this is going to sit very nicely around the edge of that oval. And this end has got quite a nice flat side to it. So if you want it on the edge of your card or you want it on an edge of a frame, you can do that and then infill that middle, that nice opening, that kind of crescent that's cuddling it with your oval, with your circles if you prefer. Or of course you could just use it completely on its own, or you can trim it down. The choices, as always, are completely yours. But it's one die, lots of deboss work in there, great chunky areas for paper piecing. So if you want to go back in and build those flowers up, you can. Or if you want to colour over it with some alcohol markers or colouring medium of your choice and bring those flowers and that foliage out, you absolutely can do. And that one again, $13.99. Now this is a new style for Sue, this kind of single panel. It's not one I've kind of recognised or I feel I've seen before. And luckily for us, she's done us a cheeky trio. So there is of course the rose cluster. There is then the butterfly floral. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this one. So again, we've got butterflies sat across the top here of these beautiful flowers, kind of again coming around in this crescent. Now, of course, we could use this on different directions if we want to, but it is kind of really, in my mind, going to always start as a landscape, but you could build it up sideways, tops and bottoms if you prefer. But to me, definitely that way is going to look really effective. And if you want to, very easy to go in, snip out these butterflies and layer them up on top to create even further dimension, or leave it flat as you can see it. And then our last die in this collection, in this big release from Sue, is carrying on with this kind of idea. We are moving on to the daisy cluster. And the daisy cluster, a bit like the roses, to me, has got a flat side on one side, that kind of opening side on the other, but of course can be used portrait, landscape, or always round to create a beautiful frame if that's what you'd like to do with it. And just like the previous two, nice chunky areas for paper piecing back into, or again, colouring over the top if that's something you would prefer to do, or infilling with glitters and bits like that as well. Again, if you wanted to cut those flowers out and 3D them, that would be quite simple to snip those about if that's what you'd like to do, and build them up on top of each of the panels. And that gives you an overview of the brand new collection. The daisy cluster and the butterfly floral one, just in case I missed those, they were $13.99. I can't quite remember if I gave you the prices for those or I didn't. But that gives you an overview of the complete brand new collection from Sue Wilson. Now I am dying to know, are you agreeing with me? Do you see what I'm saying? Is this, in your mind, like mine, Sue at her finest? Is this giving you those warm, fuzzy feelings that we get when we talk of Sue Wilson's designs and creations. Can you see how this is already going to slot perfectly into all of the Sue dies you've got in your collections and work with them? Or maybe you're new to Sue and seeing this as a great starting point. Let us know in the comments what you're thinking, because I fell completely head over heels with this collection. And when it actually comes to working with it and building it up and playing with it, I really was delighted with what I'd created. And I don't mean that in a big-headed way. I'm never a confident crafter. But sometimes I look at things and I think, yeah, do you know what? The die's done the heavy lifting for me. And that's been a really easy win. And other times I think, oh, that was a bit of a slog, but we got there in the end. And Sue's dies really have given me that thought of, well, that was easy, that was effective, and I'm really pleased with what I've created. And that's happy crafting to me. What have we got going on in the comments, Pete? You're very quiet over there this evening, checking in that you haven't fell asleep. Have we got much
when I
love?
start snoring, then you got a problem. Yeah, a lot of love. Rob says, ooh, I like those dies. Sheila says, another must-have die set. Emma, absolutely love this collection. So yeah, a lot of love. They're nice, they're beautiful. When you see the samples, they're beautiful, beautiful dies, aren't they?
I think so, and they're so easy to work with. So this is one I've created, and I kept this really simple. I've just cut it in white, I've drop shadowed it in black, and I've coloured it in with alcohol markers, and I've just done like a little scribbly line around everywhere that's green and everywhere that's lilac. I've matched in the lilac to the edge underneath with matching cardstock, and I've just stamped a little stamp in the opening. Really easy, really elegant, nothing complicated, but I created that and I was like, do you know what, that's a win. I'm happy with that. And it could have been more complicated if I wanted it to be, but it didn't have to be. To me, quite a nice sympathy card perhaps, something we all struggle for, but equally Mother's Day isn't far away. Birthdays are never far away. Get well soon, sadly, are never far away. And I felt this one kind of ticked those boxes elegantly and easily with just a couple of mats and layers underneath it. This one, same die set again, went a little bit more tricky with this, but nothing too much. I've simply just used some distress inks to blend over, actually oxide inks if I remember rightly, to blend over the panel and then stamped on it. And then I've used fluted edge rectangles and ovals to kind of create a bit of a frame and drop that back inside the frame, and then created the same effect with the corners just to try and tie it all together with gold Murray card drop shadowed underneath the panel and underneath the corners. I'll try and demo some of these for you next week, maybe if we get chance, on our next kind of look at this collection, but it gives you a glimpse at what you can be creating with them at this stage. This is beautiful. This actually stands perfectly. But when you look at the front of it, you can see it's kind of double stacked in this elegant teal and silver combination. And then that little sending hugs just stamped on there and heat embossed in silver by Emma. Isn't that a really lovely card? And it just shows how it doesn't have to be complicated at all. Another one here created by Christine. Now, I haven't done the stand test for Christine's. I see this one, I see Tracy photographing it, and I was like, oh, it stands beautifully. And I kind of didn't predict that. You don't always imagine that's going to be the case with such an open work die. But yes, Christine stands again perfectly. And Christine's done a great cutaway effect. So we've actually got the body of the card in there as well. And then the panel coming over the edge. And then these little twiddles, can you see these navy twiddles coming out? These are the waste. These are the bits that have fell out of that die. So great use for those to bring these in. You can see them wrapped around here. They're beautiful little twiddly bits that you probably might not expect, but actually I'd buy that if it was a die on its own just to get those twiddles, because you know me and my twiddles, I do love a twiddle. Them little bits that we can kind of add into our flowers and pieces work really well. I also like the way that Christine's added little gems kind of cupping around that design as well. Works nicely. Then we've got another one from Christine. Christine's actually done one of the best things that I love Christine for doing, and she's never afraid to do this. She'll often cut away at a die. Christine's our princess of A6. She loves to work on an A6 card, and if a die is slightly too big or a background is slightly too pretty to cover up, she has this great kind of knack for knowing where to cut away at a die, so she doesn't use all of it. And it's something I'm not that brave at doing. I often try to use them in their entirety, but actually cutting it away doesn't lose any of its beauty. If anything, it looks even better standing. It looks very crisp, very neat, and we've got more of that blue sky kind of coming in above it. Works really nicely. Then this one, this is gorgeous. These are all of the pieces from inside the die that Christina's taken. She's laid out onto a self-adhesive sheet and then infilled around it with our black onyx glitter. Doesn't that look beautiful? And I don't imagine, if you said to many people that this come from that, you would exactly imagine that that's where it comes from. You would think that's a different die or a different technique or a different panel, where all it is actually the bits that are left in there. I thought that was really nifty. And then this is lovely. This is Wendy. Wendy's done some very nice soft colouring here with her pinks. I think this might be one of the pages. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say I think it's one of the Woodware pages, but I feel actually she may have made it. Let's have a little look. Yeah, white, polar white card, ballet pink foundation, some distress oxides in saltwater taffy, worn lipstick, and kitsch flamingo to make the background. So yeah, she has made the background. It looks beautiful. It looks like a Woodware printed paper. And then just added on a little butterfly and then the You Make My Heart Bloom die set down the side. And this is what I mean about this area. It really does simplify where your sentiment is going to go, where that statement is going to go for you. But yet you don't have to if you don't want to. You could just add a ribbon or a bow or leave it open. But actually it does really give you quite an easy win when it comes to a card. Sometimes we want a quick win, don't we? These dies are certainly going to help you with that quick win element. Now this one, who's this? Is this Sharon? Oh no, this is Ian. So Ian's done a lovely gold one here with some nice raspberry underneath it. Very, very pretty. Ian's done this one as well and done some great colouring technique underneath them. And again, if you are into doing your colouring effects, very simple to do. You could always double cut to get a white backing plate to go underneath it and then colour through, whether that's with inks or pens or paints, whatever your medium of choice is, and infill those areas. And when we're working with Gold Mirri will repel a lot of those inks and colours. So actually you don't even have to be too precise. You don't have to worry about going over the edges because the gold will repel it beautifully. Then we've got this one here. I think this one might be Sharon. Is this one Sharon? Oh, it is add-on with Sharon. So Sharon's gone for some nice whites and pinks, making that the focal, adding on the flower on the side there, and then adding on the corners and the little butterfly up in the air. You can see how beautifully this collection works with those butterflies just coming in to add a little bit of dimension and a little bit of kind of prettiness to the air as well. Then we move on from that one. We'll have a little look at what you could be creating with the elegant floral panel. So that's this one with the beautiful roses on it. So again, here's one I've created, and you'll see the rose background, or the rose border, I should say. I'm not down with the names, apologies. You know me and names. I'm never very good at names at the best of times. This is the rose cluster. Sorry, this one here. Now, of course, this works beautifully with that oval because we've got the same kind of rose imagery coming through in both panels. So it just works quite neatly. So I've drop shadowed the back ones using my pearl cards. So I've done pearl for the top cut, navy for the cut below, drop shadowed it. Done the same on the oval in the middle. And then just to soften it, I've added in an oval of parchment. That's not the right word. Vellum, that's the word I'm looking for. Vellum in between them. And I've also done another one on the top here and then built up the butterfly on the top. Just added on the best wishes over the side. Christine's done another lovely little one, and this is what I love. And I know you get this every time I go through cards and samples and bits, but I love the fact that our team take it from this big monstrosity of a card, this really big, like, OTT card, I'm saying this because I made it, I'm allowed to, and strip it right the way back to this really cute, cool little dinky card. But we've even trimmed off some of the edges of that die, but it still works, doesn't it? We've offset it, we've moved it up, we've brought in some glitters, again we've brought in some vellum and added our sentiment on the top of it. And I don't know if you would necessarily look at those two creations and straight away go, oh, that's the same die. And I think that's brilliant. That's what it's about, isn't it? Then we've got a lovely Easter card from Ian. Now, Ian has gone in and done some paper piecing within those apertures. And this is what I mean about having the right size apertures to be able to do something that isn't too fiddly. None of these pieces are too delicate to make that nice and simple and work really beautifully. Wendy has done something completely different. She's coloured around the edges of her die cut. So again, we've got that lovely pink rose going right the way around into the green florals, and then backed it on some of our red texture paper to give that kind of different texture coming through on the petals. And then this one by Wendy, again, same creator, two very different ideas, taking it off on an Easter idea, giving it very much an egg look, because it's an oval, we can do that. Going for this nice soft lemon and adding the happy Easter on the top of it. Corners, of course, in the corners, and a little double bow at the top, or triple bow even, to really give that kind of egg look to that card. That works nicely. And then we move on with our samples, and we're going to go on to samples and creations from Harper. Now, Harper is this die set, just in case, because I know when we talk names, it sometimes gets a little bit confusing, or that might just be me. Harper's $14.99, in case that helps. Now, let's have a little look. Now, I know that Pete's not read out any questions just yet, so you might all be just soaking up the inspiration. But just in case anyone's joined us late and you've missed it, this collection is exclusively launching on Hobby Maker on Saturday, and your Saturday times will be with Gwen at 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to the best of our knowledge. Okay, so here, this is another one of my cards. I've bought in Harper, and I've cut Harper inside one of our scalloped rectangle die sets from our pearl white card, and then I've just built up around the edges with some flowers and some foliage, and I've carried on that same mint pearl card running through the layers again with our white pearl card matching throughout, just to keep it nice, simple and elegant. Hopefully we're going to demo something similar to this one shortly if we get a chance this evening. We will see. And then this is lovely. This one's done by Sharon, if I remember rightly. Yeah, our lovely Sharon's done this. So Sharon's added a little butterfly onto the front here, using that lattice behind it. She's added in those corner elements. She's stuck to a lovely monochrome colour scheme and made a little Z fold card that could have just as easily been an easel if we preferred. But actually, doesn't that look really spectacular? And it shows how much of the heavy lifting them dies are doing when we can strip it right the way back to monochrome, and it just looks pretty, it looks delicate, it looks fantastic. Then moving on to Ian. Ian has gone very Goldfinger with this one, and I love it. I'm here for it. He's created this beautiful little oval, elegant centerpiece with Harper using gold and yellow and white and black. He's added on World's Best Mum, or Best Mum in the World, sorry, to the top. He's brought in some daisies from our Jamie Rodgers designs at Creative Expressions, added in some foliage, and then brought in the lattice corners to top that off. And doesn't that look lovely? That really does make that kind of bouquet hang beautifully with that oval nestled in the middle of it. Ian's also done this one, showing you a different idea. Now, I've put this on Harper's pile, but actually I'm looking at it and thinking that's more Jane. That's Jane. We're going to evict that one. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Instead, we'll have a look at this one from Ian, again sticking with Harper. But this time you can see Ian's done some script stamping in the background over purple. Purple and gold is a lovely colour combo, isn't it? I really like purple and gold. Is that a colour combo you go for? Do you reach for gold and purples? It's one that I'm really enjoying at the moment, and I can see Ian's done great with it. Adding in those beautiful corners, bringing in our sunflower die. That's just sold out here at HQ. I know that from our diamonds collection, but that should be back in a couple of weeks, should it not?
Due in this week, estimated.
Oh, that was quick. Look at you pulling the strings.
Well, you know.
I'm impressed. We'll keep you posted on that one. Then another one from Ian going off on a different tangent. Very romantic, very Valentine's-y. Again, bringing in those lattice dies, which is lovely to see them kind of come back into this collection. Because again, being ovals, it all kind of works together. But this time having to a very special friend in the centre there, and a little shaker card with different butterflies in the middle, adding the dragonflies and the florals on around the sides. Then Wendy's brought this one in, and this is a bit of a combo again, and this is what I said about Jane and Harper working well together. The middle is Jane, but the edge is Harper, and the way that Jane has been twisted to go across Harper works really nicely. And then of course in the centre of that one we've got the congratulations, just bringing that all together. Then if we move on to this one, this again is done by Wendy. Now Wendy has brought in and she's layered up. This is lovely, look at this. I'm going to try and just give these a bit of a tweak so you can see them, because when they sit in here and they kind of get a bit crushed and you kind of miss the beauty. But doesn't that look spectacular, where she's used that lovely butterfly crescent to wrap around the edge there of our lovely Harper die set, and then added on a matching butterfly to the top, and then a get well sewn down here. Now I'm going to be honest with you, kind of quite like the idea of it being in that direction too. Maybe the sentiment coming off here with a butterfly in the middle perhaps, or maybe a sentiment down the bottom. But this is what I love about these designs. It really is down to which way you want to take them, to what you can create with them and how you layer them. And like this, or that way, either way, I could see this actually being that you've got that wrapped around the top and the bottom of it with that oval in the middle. That could work just as beautifully if you extended it out in either direction as a card footprint. That would work nicely. But beautiful card, lovely design. Then we've got another one here. I think this might be Sharon, and this might give you the idea of kind of what I meant about actually adding it to either side. This time the sunflowers. I'm calling them sunflowers. Were they called sunflowers? I don't think they were. Daisies. The daisy clusters. See me showing my lack of flowers. The daisy clusters being used on both sides, and then Harper being sat within the middle, and then a little white butterfly to just kind of bring in the white from those daisies and bring them back. And these haven't been glued down, so again you could easily lift these up and just give them that little bit of dimension so they sit in the air slightly, which would give it just that little lift. And then here's a clever card. Let's get these ones out of the way, because I always feel big cards layered on big cards, you can see them, but when we add little cards on top of big cards, they can sometimes get a bit lost. So let's bring in one of Harper that's been created by Christine. And this is really cool, because you can see that Christine has used that pierced element and she's threaded ribbon all the way around it and then tied it in a little bow off to one side. Doesn't that look so cool? That little thread of that 3mm ribbon just being wrapped through that stitch hole. Now I know it's going to take a moment to do it, and it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but doesn't that look so cool? It really does add a different dimension onto what you can be doing on your cards. And this, again, only an A6 card. It's not a huge card. So to be able to focus in and create that dimension, that look, that luxury on such a small footprint, I think is amazing. And then if there's still no questions, we're going to move on to Jane. And we'll have a little look at Jane. Show you what we can create with this one, because this, again, lovely die set. So this is Jane. Jane's got 7 dies within the set. Again, $14.99 is your retail price for this one, to give you a little plan of what you might be wishing to add to your shopping lists. Now, Christine's been very creative. How cool is this? Again, bringing in just the smaller components from in the middle of that die set, turning them into this really cool focal element, and then doing them in different shades of pinks all the way across that A6 card. Just works really beautifully, doesn't it? Emma has gone very golden purple, making this very regal card, and again bringing in the roses to go behind it and adding on Jane on top. Then we've got Sharon. Sharon's created this very cute, very dinky, very elegant little easel card, bringing Jane in as the base plate and, of course, the focal. So that stands beautifully and then folds right down to make this really kind of like note taggy, kind of pocketbooky kind of size card, which I absolutely adore. And the way she's built up all of these layers of foam tape, it's got so much dimension to it. It really would steal the attention on a fireplace or a mantelpiece, but yet actually hasn't had to do it with size and grandeur. It's that white on white with them little iridescent gems that really just make you focus, kind of pull towards it. And again, what a great kind of batch making ability, all out of one die. Then if we move forward, we've got another one done by Christine, and Christine's added in some torn vellum. She's added in the die, she's added in some little scribbles or notes, doodles, and then she's done this lovely inky background and then brought the butterflies into the forefront using the same colours as what's been used in the background. Then we've got another one here from Ian. Ian's done, again, a lovely set of tone-on-tone pinks. I don't know what it's been about with this die, but obviously when we go back to Christine, where we started with our kind of pink collection, and now we're seeing Ian here working in different shades of pinks and creams and building this one up. And this could have a little butterfly on there could be a little sentiment if you wanted to, but actually I really like it kind of letting that beautiful die do all the heavy lifting and dancing for us. Then we've got one from Wendy. Now, Wendy's gone completely the opposite. She's stayed with just whites and creams and very elegant, different shades of pearls running through here, of pearl cardstocks. I can even see some of our textured white card coming through in one of the layers beneath, and then just built this up, again, using that pierced aperture creator from the die set to make this sunken effect, and then added in the layers beneath it, and brought the little corners in to finish it off. Then we've got this lovely card, this again done by Wendy, showing you a very different idea, very different footprint as well. This time putting red underneath it, but cutting all of those elements actually into the front of the card. And this is why when we're designing dies, Sue especially is good at this. She leaves off the outside edges as separate dies. So if you want to leave them out, you can do. And that means you can cut them in and leave them there. If you always have that outside edge attached, you can't cut it into a card blank like we have here. Cutting it in and actually just creating that really lacy focal point. Such an elegant way to take a store-bought card blank and completely transform it. Sharon's done this beautiful creation using one of the actual dies, that lovely rose border, as a stencil in the background in shades of blue, and then building up on top of it. Now, whether this is kind of a money wallet going off in that direction, or as intended, a nice stand upright DL, is of course down to you, and possibly where you place your sentiments and your finishing touches. Now this one made me ooh and ah out loud when it came out of the box. This one again is done by Sharon, and Sharon has created this amazing backing panel here where she's taken that insert die and she's layered it. She's done some great glazing, she's added glitters into the middle areas, and she's really built this up. But it's got that beautiful stained glass effect, all by just using, once again, the middle components from this die. We've still got all of those excess bits, the outside bits, that Sharon hasn't even had to use. She's just focused in on them smaller components, and it just works. Then we've got another one from Sharon. This time she has used all of the elements. She's kept it very simple, layered in black and white, and then let all the colour come into the background of it. So you're kind of keeping your focus on that middle point, matching that into the card blank and the areas below it, but yet still having that pop of colour. Now, another time that Sharon's done this is this card here, but instead of sticking to the whites and the blacks, she's gone for reds and whites instead, and then made this really lovely vintage background using our fob watch stamp set, and building up on that with some colour and some distress inks and some misting and some colouring, and these lovely torn panels running through it as well, and not to mention this delightful little flower that's been added to just finish it off on the side and matching the same tones as the flowers that have been used through in the background. And then Ian is bringing our last bit of inspiration at this stage from Jane, and Ian has gone for a nice monochrome card, blacks and whites and silvers, and again layered up that middle bit, all inset into that aperture die with that nice pierced detail running around it. He's added the corners in, and he's also cut out just one of the flowers from that lovely daisy cluster to add onto the base here of the card, and then finished it off with one of our wordies saying happy birthday to you. Now, I do have a question for you at this stage. This isn't to win anything, but this is out of pure nosiness on my behalf. I would like to know, now you've seen the inspiration, or some of the inspiration that we're going to be bringing you over the next couple of weeks from Jane and Harper, which one gets your vote? Now, Harper is the bottom one of the board, Jane is the top one. Are you Team Harper or Team Jane? Or do you want both? This is your stage to jump on in. We will give you more inspiration in a moment with the borders and the corners. But at this stage, are we Team Harper or Team Jane? Peter, are they voting yet?
Not as yet.
Well, we need to know.
They will.
We need to know. So Peter, it's down to you to keep us informed as to which one is winning, Team Jane or Team Harper. The choice is yours.
Joyce is straight in with Harper.
Oh, is Joyce going to set the lead? Do we think?
She might be.
Do we think they'll all follow? Or do we think that there might be some Team Jane out there?
There's a quick question from Sheila.
Hello,
just
Sheila.
asking if there's any chance of showing how to paper piece again, if that's a possibility. Or maybe just explain paper piece.
Yeah, of course, we'll explain it. That's no problem. Well, actually, it's so easy. So all you're going to do is you're going to cut it in one colour. So let's see, like we've done it here in white. We've stuck it onto a piece of black card. Now, when you cut it, all of these pieces in the middle are all going to fall out. So, of course, at this stage, they're going to fall out in white. But if you cut the same die in another colour, so let's see if we can find it for you. Give us a sec, and then we'll bring you some more inspiration with these. Let's see if we can find that die and we'll send it through the machine.
Are they allowed to pick both?
Of course they're allowed to pick both. Yeah, you're talking to somebody who can't make a decision for toffee. Of course you're allowed to pick both.
For both.
Oh my goodness, yes, always here for both. as I say, genuinely, and this, I thought it was just me. I have to be careful sometimes because I'll confess the world to you. You know that. There are no secrets. Last week, I believe, we were chatting about my random eating habits. So I'll tell you whatever. Never, not a guarded person in any sense, really. Probably should be, but I'm not. And I said to Gwen, because Gwen's doing the shows obviously on Saturday, I said to Gwen, I've so enjoyed playing with these. I've only made like 12 cards, but I've really, really, really enjoyed them. And it really is giving me those vibes of going back to the wonderful world of Sue. And obviously, like, we've had Sue collections, we've done 3 or 4, but Sue has kind of and intentionally gone off on different themes and different things. We had Christmas, and then we had the men's fishing collection, didn't we? What else have we done with Sue recently? Help out.
Romance collection.
Romance, of course. But it's been a while since she's done her kind of florals and her frames and her tags bits. And it's when you start building them up, you just can't make a bad card. The details are all there for you. And I think it's as much that. It's kind of all of that beauty being done. I don't know. It might just be me, but I don't think it is, because, as I say, Gwen agreed. We both had this long chat about how lovely it was to kind of have Sue back doing what she does best, but what we like best. Does that make sense? We've enjoyed it. And I think you'll see that throughout the shows and throughout the things. So just quickly, I've cut this out in yellow. All of these pieces are cut for you. So all you're going to do is take them and glue them back into the apertures that are created. And if you do this over the top of a self-adhesive sheet, then obviously you're going to have something holding them in place for you straight away. If you do like I am here, and I'm not gluing them, but I would put wet glue into each of these pieces, and I would then just take them out one at a time and place them back into where they need to be. And it really is as simple as that to paper piece. Now, this could be something that you do in multiple colours. It might be something where you do green for the leaves and yellows for the flowers, or reds for the roses, or whatever it may be. Or it could be something that you do in batches and then sit and do in front of the TV. Just poke them all out, place them all back in, and paper piece throughout. Any areas you don't want to do, so if you are working on a self-adhesive sheet, you say, well, actually, I don't want to do the green in there, I might infill those with glitter, I might do something different with them. Or, of course, if you're building up on top of a white card, you can go through and colour that instead with a different medium. But that is all it means to paper piece, is just to go in and basically piece back in place the pieces that I needed. I hope that makes sense. Please yell if it doesn't, and we'll run through it once again.
Kim says.
Why do you pause for dramatic effect when you say Kim says?
She was talking about last week. She said, I went to Tesco's on Saturday.
Did you go on the search for your acrylic blocks?
She did.
Did they not have any next to the ginger nuts?
They didn't have any acrylic blocks.
It's just not good, is it? I hear it's store dependent, Kim.
Do you?
Store dependent.
I think we should go around and plant them into. We could do that. We could hunt the block.
This is going to take a different twist.
Oh dear,
so
maybe
forgive
not,
me.
because we don't want to be kicked off.
Well, we could. I don't think so. It was on this morning. It can't be that bad, but it is a bit weird to me. There is a guy who is going round and planting his used socks. Is in like dirty socks in places.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't get this. You know me and feet. I can't stand feet. But you put
Glad you went with socks.
No, it is. No. It's a big thing apparently. On I don't know. I think he said Instagram, but I don't know. I'm not an Instagram user. But he's going around and putting his dirty socks in places, and then he like puts up clues of where to find them, and people go and find them. And on the interview he did on This Morning, he said like one man turned up, and he had just called in sick to work that day because his wife had told him when he was en route to work that this guy, I can't remember his name, had told him that the socks were wherever they were. So he called in ill so he could go and find this guy's dirty socks. I know it's random, sorry. But it does.
Blocks.
We could do it with blocks. We could do it with blocks.
We could.
We've got enough blocks is all I'm saying. We could do it. We could do it. But okay, going back to where we should be and not talking about dirty socks, because I found that very, very random. Very, 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 very random. Anyway, going back to where we were. So inspiration with our rose set. So this, of course, is taking the rose set, cutting it from our green pearl card, laying it down, and then colouring in with alcohol markers, and then laying another green one over the top. So if there is any coloration on it, you're not going to see it. Again, I'll try and demo that at some stage for you so you can kind of see it being brought together. This one, white pearl die cuts coloured in with alcohol markers. I love colouring white pearl card because of the alcohol markers will colour it and you'll still end up with that pearl finish. So if you don't have white pearl card in your stash yet, that is something I really would recommend. And it just so happens that Gwen will have it on her shows on Saturday for you. But it is genuinely a great one to colour because it will maintain the colour that you add to it. You know I'm not the most confident colourist. It's another way in which I distract my colouring ability by colouring over pearl card because it adds that sheen and that gloss to it. This is lovely, bringing both of those panels in top and bottom, leaving a little aperture in the middle for you to then stamp your sentiment on. This is really cool from Christine again, bringing in 3 shades of pink and layering those up and just placing them one on top of the other to create this kind of rainbow or ombre effect of them. This one's rather lovely from Sharon. Again, she's done some of that stenciling through the die in the background and then coloured and built it up on top. This one's really pretty as well. This is Wendy. Wendy's done some self-adhesive sheet underneath it and then infilled with glitter and then put a red die cut over the top of it to just kind of halo effect around the edges. This one again, really effective by Wendy, bringing in shades of blue and building up, of course, bringing in the Harper frame and then cutting out different elements from within this border. So not using it always as one giant piece. Even the central part is just parts of it, not all of it. And that's a really nice way to see that you can cut it down if it's a bit bigger than you need for every project. Ian, again, has brought in the nesting die behind it and then layered the roses around the corner, which works really lovely. And then Ian, once again, has created a very, very cool circular card, adding on the panel just across the bottom of it, which makes this really lovely overhang area, adding in that lovely sentiment, and then this kind of array of butterflies running through the top that's very pretty. And then Sharon's gone back to monochrome, and this is gorgeous. So she's added the panels on the outside, added a little white butterfly and a little sentiment the other side to coordinate between her monochromes. And then when you open up the middle, we've got that lovely matching rose oval in the centre, floral oval, with another little butterfly in the centre of that, and then the corners to tie it all together. So doesn't that look really cool? In that kind of monochrome colour scheme, all kind of tying together. Very effective. And then we're going to move on to our penultimate design. Oh, no, I'm lying. I don't know what. One from penultimate, is that a word? Me showing off with the only big word I know the design and definition to it. Is in the wrong place? Never mind, we'll come back. It's fine. So Christine has done this one for us. She's done this lovely little butterfly floral panel, and she's made that sit atop of her little easel card. And then paper-wise, she's used some of our Woodware papers from that brand new paper pad from Francois Reed, and then added on a couple of the little wordies to finish that off and give it kind of a very modern twist. Another one here from Emma. Emma's done this lovely black and white effect, just layering up the butterflies once again, top and bottom, leaving that little aperture in the middle for her mini Franks die set. And then Sharon's back again with that lovely rose and fob watch set, but built up these butterflies going across the middle of it and added the little corners into the edges. And then this one's lovely. This one's got no name on it. I think this might be Ian's. I feel it's Ian's, but sorry if I'm crediting the wrong creator. But I think Ian here has embossed the panel in the middle and gone over it with waxes and then brought out that lovely butterfly little crest across the bottom and then added in a couple of the butterflies across the top to just kind of tie it all together. I thought that was very, very nice. Very, very nice. Did we have any questions about socks or where the acrylic blocks are going to be hidden, Peter?
No, Diane suggested a Tesco crawl, maybe.
A Tesco what, sorry?
Crawl.
Tesco
like
crawl? I'm up for that. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Okay, this one looks a bit heavy on screen. This is one I've done, though I can say that. But it is a little bit heavy on screen. But when you actually see it in reality, it hopefully looks a bit nicer than it does coming through on the screens. But all I've done here is I've taken the lovely daisies, I've cut them in white pearl and gold, and drop shadowed them, and then I've done very similar for the layers here beneath them, and then I've layered that up with that lovely rich green from the pearl card coming through in a couple of different places and added that on as our sentiment. And of course used our pierced ovals and our scalloped and pierced rectangles to run around it. I really found they worked so nicely with this collection, the ovals and the rectangles, because it all kind of, all of the elements are kind of got that ovalesqueness to them. Even like something like this, it kind of just sits in that lovely round edge of an oval, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I found they worked really nicely, and I know that Gwen's got those on her show on Saturday as well. And then this one's a bit heavy and a bit big, but I do like it. I thought it worked quite nicely. I've gone for the navy in the pearl card, and I've built my lovely daisy edge up into a bit of a square or into a circle. I've overlapped them in a couple of places, but I started off with a square and then just used that flat edge against the edges. Now you could trim that down a little if you want. You just certainly don't have to have it quite as big as that one if you don't want to. It's only an 8x8 card, but I know not everyone likes big cards. You certainly could trim it if that's how you'd prefer to go with it. But it gives you a glimpse at how you can take that one panel, instead of using it individually, build it up into making a much bigger background. Would be certainly very nice if you're into scrapbooking as well, to actually make some page decorations from it. Now these of course are our lovely Christine, and I just wanted to bring in this trio for you because again, all created from one die set, but 3 very, very, very different cards, giving you completely different results. This one over here being backed as a shaker card, so lovely little seed beads and elements in there to give a little rustle. This one being added over the top of that lovely floral oval, and this time being infilled with glitters over a nice little stenciled background. Each of them works beautifully in its own right, but yet gives completely different effects to what you might have imagined, all from one die. Sharon's done a lovely DL card here and done some lovely glaze technique inside each of the apertures to make that really pop. Another DL this time from Emma, going for blacks and whites together. Going back to that glazed effect from Sharon, we've got another one here giving you that kind of look. And then this is cool. I really like this. This one's Wendy. Wendy's done a couple of these, but I don't know if we ever show them right. But it's a really fun card because it's a big card. It's an 8x8, but she makes these little easels where they just stand at the front there. You kind of get this really cool dimension of where they sit. Kind of, it also gives me the idea that you could kind of triple stack that if you wanted to and have different panels at different heights. But I really like it. It's very modern, very fresh. And I really do like that. Very different idea. And then we've got one last one here. And who's done this one? I don't think I've seen this one yet. Is it there, Mum? Oh, Wendy again. So very different idea. Paper piecing back in the pieces. And I love the colours you've used here, Wendy. This kind of soft custard with that outside kind of lovely autumn orange. And then added in sort of soft sea greens, all with that blue and kind of grey colour scheme. Not a colour scheme I would have expected at all, but it looks really lovely. Very fresh, very lovely. Okay, and that gives you a little glimpse at those. And then very lastly, I've just got one more project I want to share with you, and then I promise we're going to do something in the form of a demo. Oh, I've got 2 more projects I want to share. I'm lying again. I'm not very good at this counting bit tonight, am I? Shocking. So this is just a really cool little envelope that Ian has created, and I just wanted to share it with you because it's just an envelope. He's not put anything in it, but it doesn't need anything in it. It's all about showing you how adding that flower onto the back of the envelope flap works really nicely. But actually on this side is the bit that really got me, was how nice adding those corners onto an envelope and then adding in that little oval really sets this off. And we often talk about this, don't we? We do all of this work on a card. We make these cards so elaborate. We've got all these folds, all these colours, all this dimension, and then we put it into a white envelope. And it's a bit flat, isn't it? And I think actually, although we don't always want to go to town on the envelope is kind of the bit that's going to go in the bin 9 out of 10 times. We don't necessarily want to spend the earth on it or the time on it. But this, very simple, just 4 die cuts for the corners, 2 for the middle, 6 die cuts, and we've got this beautiful envelope that's going to set that card off inside it beautifully. I thought that was very nice. And then lastly, and I happen to, oh, yeah, it is lastly. I thought I'd seen more. Lastly, this is something that our dear Emma has done. Now, I happen to know that there is a video coming with this. So if you have questions, do not fear. Emma has preempted them. She is going to help you. This is the longest video Emma has ever done. I believe it's going to be somewhere around an hour, which is a very long format video for Emma. So please support her and say thank you for it when it arrives, because it's a lot of work goes into videos to try and give you these inspirational ideas. And it's kind of lovely to see that she's going well above and beyond to share with you each and every step of the way to creating this lovely little set. Now, I know the reason Emma's done it, and it might not jump straight out at you, is that every single card here is all just white on white, so nothing complicated, But each one of them is using Harper and Jane in different ways. Different stacks, different layers, different die cuts, different edges being removed, different edges being brought in, different parts of each set being brought together to work in a way that you might not have predicted, like here with this central part coming from Jane and then the layers coming from Harper. It all builds up, it all works, and she's going to take you through how to do all of these and the layers that we use to create them. So again, if you do order these on Saturday when they're exclusive to Hobby Maker, keep an eye out for that video from Emma that will drop on this page at some stage over the next couple of weeks, sharing with you how you can get all of this out of those dies. And I know Emma will go through even more ideas with you as well, because of course it doesn't just stop at 6, but that's where she wanted to show you that you could make a little box set and then send that little box set out for somebody to be able to pass on the joy of handing out all of those cards. But it was mostly about being able to share with you ideas on how you could start using those dies and cutting in and cutting out with all of the different elements, because sometimes we kind of forget that we've got all of that ability just by having those separate edges. And I think that's a really great way that Emma's trying to demonstrate that for you and share that for you. So just to recap, in case we do have any late joiners, this is your complete collection that's coming to you from Sue. I'm going to give you one last look at it, and then we're going to do some demos if we don't have any questions as yet. So in this set, there are 2 of the frames and tags kind of nesting dies, as I like to refer to them as, Jane and Harper at the bottom here. There are the corners from the frames and tags collection. Then we've got our 3 kind of floral panels, if you will, from the kind of finishing touches collection. And then we've got our frames and tags of the budding blooms and the elegant florals, which are these lovely big ovals with those flowers kind of being wrapped around them. Now, are they all as in love as we are? Can you hear our enthusiasm for this collection?
I can.
Has that been reciprocated and replied to?
Indeed. Yep. Seems to be a lot of love for them. Probably when you do one of your demos, Emma did just ask about the drop shadow. Did you see that comment?
I didn't see that comment.
Just to see if you can explain how to do one.
Is this Emma Goffin?
It is our dear Emma.
Then no.
I tried, Emma. Tried.
She causes too much grief. I've decided no is the answer.
Well, they don't need to see me for that much, do they? But no, it's... Sheila says, why are adverts playing while watching your live?
Who's got adverts whilst watching us?
Sheila.
In what format? Have they heard about our dodgy sock chat? Is it for Ariel? What are these adverts? We don't have any adverts.
I'm intrigued.
Sheila, you need to tell us more. Has anybody else got adverts? Where are the adverts coming from?
We shouldn't
have adverts.
Maybe Tesco.
Maybe Tesco's. Maybe Tesco's getting in on it. They know of our acrylic block Easter egg hunt. Maybe that's what they're up to. They're like, hang on a minute. We'll stick up some adverts. We'll get on that action. But no, we shouldn't have any adverts. Actually, quite the opposite. When it comes to all of our social media, we actually try and block as many adverts as we can. Like with our YouTube videos and that, there's nothing more infuriating, is there, than you're halfway through an instruction on how to do something and up pops, I don't know, Kerry Katona trying to sell you an air freshener. I don't know. It's just not needed, is it? So if we can get rid of them, we do.
Does she sell air fresheners?
People do, don't they? When was the last time we watched proper adverts?
I have no idea.
We don't watch proper telly with proper adverts, do we? So I'm never too sure who's going to appear on what adverts where. But I reckon if you went out on a limb, you could get Kerry Katona to sell you an air freshener.
Good.
I reckon.
We'll be going back to Debbie McGee in a bit.
We will. Debbie McGee sells kitchens. There would be nothing wrong with Kerry Katona selling an air freshener. Okay, getting this track back on, shall we? Or this train back on the track. This is going to be my first card that we're going to do for you. And it's because Emma's asked to see a drop shadow, to be honest with you. So it's very simple to do, Emma. Very, very easy indeed. Here I have my die cuts done for me, just for speed. I wanted to try and get in a couple of demos tonight. So I thought we would die cut as many bits and pieces as we can in advance. So all you're going to do is take the same die cut and you're going to cut it twice. And then you're going to drop one behind the other. And it's as simple as that. You can stick them flat if you wish to, or you can do them like I am with 1mm foam tape. I just wanted a little bit of a rise between them. Right there, just before I do that, let's see if we put it onto black, if you can see what I'm doing slightly easier. So there's our black die cut. If we bring this in, you can hopefully, I'm trying not to get my head in the way. all we're going to do is just bring that down just slightly. Can you see what I mean? Where that gold just appears in from behind. So I'm literally coming down kind of diagonally down towards the right, but you can go in any direction. You can go side by side and go up, down, whatever you want, whatever you think works best. But I tend to, I don't know why, but I tend to go down and to the left just slightly. And then whenever you're happy, place one on top of the other. And that's what we mean by a drop shadow. Because then from inside your die cut, you will get that tone coming through. And it's only a glint, it's not heavy, it's not full on, but hopefully you'll see some gold shine through. So I've used our rose gold pearl card because that obviously has a golden tinge to it. So with that golden kind of colour shining through, matching it with gold mirror card, to me just makes me happy. You kind of get that kind of raw gold beneath it then, and it kind of ties together beautifully. And actually showing it to you on black, doesn't that make them two colours pop really beautifully? So you might prefer to go black underneath instead. But we are going to go white. So for our white die cut, because obviously this is one die, so you're going to possibly wonder, if you've not seen me do this before, how's he got a solid die cut to match? Now this is our party trick that we are often going on about. If you take any die, this isn't just an us die thing, this is an any die thing. If you take a die and you put it down on your plate for your machine, let's bring in the plate, let's bring in the die. If you put down the colour you want to cut out first of all, so let's say in this instance, we want a bright yellow top cut. That's the one that's going to have all of the open elements. But we want to have a solid black colour to go underneath it. We put the black on top and we send it through the machine. 9 out of 10 times, your die is going to cut through the yellow one perfectly. But the black one, it will cut around the edge. It's not going to cut all of it, because we're just asking the die, even in an electronic machine, even with top quality dies, we're just asking for it to do a little bit too much heavy lifting. So we'll normally find that the edge cuts beautifully, but all of these inlay pieces won't cut quite through. They'll engrave, but they won't go all the way through. Now, if you have any that have, so over here, for instance, I can see a few bits around there that are just starting to pop out, because it is intended to cut. So you might have a couple of bits like that. Just anchor them down, whether that's with foam tape, whether that's with low tack tape, it doesn't matter. Just something that's going to hold them in place. But the majority of the pieces that you cut, you will find that it will cut around the outside, but it won't cut through that intricate fretwork, because it's just too much. It's just too much for the die to do. It's just too much like hard work. So it will just cut those outside edges. So that's how I've got my engraved white panel. Now this opens up different ideas. We could leave it engraved, we don't have to add any more to it, but because we wanted a solid panel to place behind this, we're going to bring this in and we're going to place that over the top. Just so we have that white shining through from underneath that panel. Now this is a big enough panel that we could turn this into an easel if we wanted to. We could do 2 or 3 of these together, we could put a nice butterfly on the top, we could do a nice sentiment on the bottom of it, and that could be a really nice easel card. And that would give you a different idea of where you could take this if that's what you would prefer to do with it. But for mine, we're going to build it up onto the front of a card. So we're going to start off with our card blank. I'll give you a measurement in just a second. Did Sheila reply with any more details on the adverts?
She said,
Got me worried.
She was looking on the Reels page, but maybe it's a Reels where they go one after another. Maybe,
oh, it could be. So yeah, if you watch a reel back, as our one ends, it will instantly play the next reel, and there might be adverts in between those. That's possible. I say possible because I'm not very good at tech, but I think so. I think then you might get Kerry Katona pop up with her air freshener. Other celebrity endorsed air fresheners are available.
I'm going to have a look to see if she has been doing that.
I don't know. The last advert I see Kerry Katona on.
I don't know, but no one else has got any issues. So.
Oh, good.
It's all good. No
Kerry Katona
kitchens or no shake and vac going on, you know. So.
Peter Andre must be on an advert at the moment. He's always on an advert.
I haven't seen him for ages.
No, he's often on an advert now, isn't he? Peter Crouch. He appears a lot for Ariel. Is it Ariel Daz?
It's Ariel, isn't it?
I don't know. See, this is the problem. You block it out after a while, don't you? You've got no idea. Oh, here he goes again with his white shirts.
I don't have him down as a TV guy, but like doing adverts to you.
I don't know. He's very good. He's got
Very
us
talented
talking about him.
footballer.
He's stuck in our head. Something's
True.
working. Okay, in the middle of this, we're going to continue the same theme. So we're going to go down to the panels that come with Harper or Jane, because I forgot which one it is now. But one of those. And we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. It is Jane. We're going to do the white solid. We're going to do the gold on top. And even that's kind of pretty, isn't it? Just leaving it with the gold on the top there. But we're going to continue as planned. And we're going to bring in the rose gold. And we're going to do that same drop shadow again. Just so we get that little glimpse of gold underneath it. I love this little panel on top of this. I thought that worked so nicely. I'm sure Sue had that in mind when she developed these, because it does just build up so precisely and beautifully within that oval. And of course this works just as well with the other one as well. And then I'm going to bring in my little butterfly. This is my butterfly. And my butterfly, Pete. It's not your butterfly, it's my butterfly. And this, of course, is on Gwen shows on Saturday too. So if you've not seen the butterfly, I can't even speak anymore. See what you've done to me. The talk of Peter Andre and Peter Crouch. That's it. That's true. I've lost my words. But the butterfly is, of course, on the show on Saturday too. And then the corners. This done in exactly the same way as when we chatted about the oval in the middle. I've cut this in rose and in gold mirror at the same time. So I've ended up with the solid backing for the gold underneath, and then the rose I've put on top. And I'm just shaping the foliage, the leafy part of this. So it's got a little bit of a curve to it as I'm placing them down on each of the corners. And they do just fit. And I know, again, Sue thinks of everything, but they just fit perfectly size-wise to cup and kind of give that oval that area. I often find with an oval, love an oval, but we end up with this kind of real estate in the corners with nothing really to go in it. And if we just put a pearl, it's not really enough. We want something that ties in colour and design wise. And I think Sue's thought of that with these very dinky, very cute, very adorable little corners. They do really fit in perfectly. So they're certainly a must have in my world. And then we are going to finish this off just with a ribbon. If I can find some scissors to just trim off the end. I'm going to add this round it as well, just to complete the look. Now we would like to give this away tonight, this evening. So if you are watching live on Monday at somewhere after 7, while we're live on our Facebook page, and I do all this because every week we get somebody who comments at like 6 AM on a Thursday, and I feel terrible that they don't know that they can't win. So if you are watching this while we're live on Monday Night Natter here on the Facebook page, and you would like to win the card I'm making right now, what we would like to know this evening, our random question for you, is what's your favourite floral scent? We're chatting flowers, we're looking at flowers, we're thinking ahead to spring. What's your favourite floral scent? Do you have one? And if you do, let us know in the comments. And Pete, our lovely independent adjudicator, will pick one lucky winner to receive the cards we make this evening. Do you have a favourite floral scent, Peter?
Freesias, always very, very nice.
I don't know if I would know what they smell like.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Are they?
They used to be. A lot of people say they're not like they used to be.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
Is that one of them times in life where you just nod and go, yes, thinking maybe. I've got no idea, but I'm going to agree.
You never smelled freesia?
Pardon?
You never. On a Monday evening, I do like to ask some random questions.
Have I never sniffed a freesia?
Never sniffed a freesia?
I don't think I've sniffed a freesia. I might have sniffed a freesia.
Lived.
Well, I don't know,
Pop
Peter.
in the comments. Do you like freesias? Oh, look at not the first 2 comments. What are they? They're freesias.
I quite like a little bit of yag.
I know what you're on about. Yalang.
That's the one. Oh. I might attempt that again later if I'm brave enough. But yeah. Okay, so card number 1, 6 1/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. But yeah, I quite like that.
That or a nice scented rose. But not a lot of roses do have.
I feel like we're giving them lots of answers here. If they had a blank over which one, we've just give them ylang something, and you've given freesias, and that weren't even my favourite. I've got a favourite, and I ain't even confessed it yet.
Oh, Pippa's got a good one. Sweet peas, that's true.
Sweet peas?
Yeah, keep cutting them. They just keep on flowering.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever sniffed a sweet pea either, if I'm being brutally truthful. I don't think I often
When we go
sniff
for a trip
flowers.
to Tesco, I'm going to take you around some gardens.
Well, they've got
Go
that little
sniffing.
display as you walk in the door. Maybe we should just do a little bit of a sniff on that. They'll be like, here come them oddos again. Planting their acrylic blocks.
Oh.
Sniffing the freezers on entry. One way to get yourself banned from a Tesco's Extra.
Kim says wallflowers are smelling lovely at the minute.
I've lost you now, haven't I? That's it, you've gone.
I'm going to pull up
Dear,
outside the
dear.
garage tonight. On the camera, they'll be like, what are they doing?
See, I was after a Tesco's Extra on the way home. You've downgraded us to a garage. Story of my life, that is. So it's 6 1/4 by 8 1/4 for this card. We've brought in that lovely mint pearl card once again, and we're going to use that as our base layer. See how I try and steer the ship back on the tracks?
Sue says, does the smell of cut grass, does that qualify?
Oh, I
You
don't
like
know.
that, didn't you?
I love the smell of cut grass. I absolutely adore the smell of cut grass. I don't know. Is
Maybe
grass a
old
flower?
Kerry Katona, maybe she does different scents. Fresh cut grass.
She's not a Yankee candle.
Ylang.
I think you can get a Yankee candle of cut grass, can't you?
Maybe.
I don't know. Do you know, and I might be wrong here and I might be set up, but do you know when you go to buy Yankee candles, you're meant to sniff the lid, not the candle?
I have heard this story.
Have you?
Maybe it's you setting me up. I don't know. Yes, maybe you do.
I reckon some store assistant once told people that, just so you go in and sniff the lids and look like a complete nana. But there might be some sense to it. There might, I'm sure there probably is. Maybe the scent resonates. Maybe the scent lifts. I don't know. Okay, should we talk about what we're doing and not Yankee candles for just a moment before they kind of decide that we've completely gone off the tracks? So carrying on with our layering here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our lovely oval die set. Now this, of course, is one of our nesting dies from jamierodgerscrafts. This is the scalloped and the pierced. So we're going to bring in the outside edge to it with the scallop part to it, and then we're going to bring in the central part with the pierced element to it. And this is where Harper and Jane really do come into their own, because of course both of those have got those separate edges, and we can choose which bits we want to cut from which ones. So if we go into Harper first of all, and we bring that in and we place that into the middle of the oval, you can see that really does fit perfectly within the oval. We've got a nice little area at the top and the bottom, but sides, it's like right against the side there. Then we can go on to our next part of our layer. So we're going to leave Harper alone for a second, and we're going to go off to Jane, and we're going to bring in that panel from Jane. And this is why I say they work so well together. They're not necessarily designed to work together as such. You can see that the pattern's going off in different areas, but actually it lends itself beautifully to have these little areas where you could add in pearls and gems and bits and pieces like that. And then we're going to go for the next layer down from our lovely Jane to cut that out as an aperture. But we don't have to. We could leave that one out if we prefer, and we could actually bring in these more lacy panels as well. Oh, I've got a little bit left in that one. Cheeky little bit. Get out of the way. We could bring that in there as well. And then again, in the centre there, we could choose to cut that out as an aperture. Or again, we have another little panel that could go in and actually make that a decoration. Or if at any stage we prefer, and this is what I love, we could say, well, actually, we're not going to use any of them bits. We're going to go back to just Jane, and we're going to add in a pierced detail running around the inside of there. We're going to add in that lovely lattice. Or instead, we could say, well, we're going to take out that lattice, and we're going to add in an aperture instead in the centre of Jane, and we're going to send that through, and we could end up with a beautiful frame that we could use in a scrapbook page or as an insert to a card. Do you get the idea? This is what I love. All them interchangeability bits. We can choose what bits we cut, where we go, how we're going to create them. So for mine, I've cheated. I've done mine in advance, just so you don't have to listen to that machine going for the next 18 seconds. And I've cut it out already, and you don't have to watch me poke the bits out. So I told you I cheated a lot tonight, haven't I? But this, of course, is using Harper and Jane, yo-yoing between the both again. So Harper and then Jane for the central parts, but they do fit beautifully. I've then added 1mm foam tape to the reverse of this so we can take these away, and that's then going to sit on top of that lovely mint green layer that we've already got in place on the card perfectly. Let's get rid of those bits as well. And then this is another one of those cards that we could go for a landscape or a portrait depending on where and how we wish to layer this up. And pearls are a little bit out, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. See, that would actually look really lovely as a landscape, wouldn't it? I'm kind of tempted to go off on that tangent. What do you think? Should we go landscape with this one? This is what it's going to look. Oh, should we do a dry run? That's it as a landscape, as a portrait, sorry. If we was to go landscape, let's bring in my butterfly. Or 3D this up. You're going to have to let me know in the comments quickly. Landscape or portrait? What do you prefer? You can see where it's going to end. You might be able to vote before we've even done it. And then we'd probably go around there, I suppose. And then we'll bring in our flowers and put them on there. So what do you prefer, landscape or portrait? The choice is yours. Peter, you're going to have to declare a winner at some stage, or if not, they're going to get very bored. They're going to think I fell asleep. I don't know, actually. What do you prefer?
I don't know.
Usually when I ask this question, I can see it as like, oh, I know I really want it as this or the other. But I actually quite like both.
I like both.
What are the viewing public choosing? Have they chose yet? Is there a unanimous decision?
Landscape.
Oh, landscape it is then. Get out of here, you. If we don't like you, bring on the landscape. Pardon?
What, me?
No,
I'm off to
me
Tesco.
portrait. You're off to Tesco to sniff a cactus. Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
Do cactuses have a scent? Have I missed this?
That could end rather dangerously, couldn't it?
I don't know. I've lost you again, haven't I? This is the second time this evening I feel like I've broken you. Okay, so we're going to bring in some foliage. What's the foliage, Peter?
I didn't know this. This was suddenly pounced. Lavish.
Yes,
And mirrored lavish.
correct. What's the flower?
Do I get a cactus for that? Oh. Rippled star blooms.
Correct.
Look at that. I definitely get a cactus now.
Do you want a cactus?
Question is, where's it going?
There is our lovely landscape card for card number 2. So I think you made the right choices. I think that's kind of nice. I'd be tempted to add a sentiment on this one now if we did, if I was doing this again. I think when I did this one, I kind of wanted a sentiment, but it was a bit heavy. Where this time we've got a bit more room over here, I could possibly add that in, bring that mint back up to the top again, and maybe like add a happy birthday or a best wishes. Sometimes I think a card looks a little bit naked if it doesn't have a sentiment on it. Kind of hasn't got its purpose as such in life, has it? So actually having that little bit of room there to be able to add it is kind of nice, but I don't always add a sentiment, as you see, but that I think lends itself, there's a bit of room there, we could add one in if we wanted to. But again, it will be the landscape one we will send out to our lucky winner, so our lucky winner might well choose to add a sentiment onto it if you wish to. Now I reckon, Pete, if we're quick, we could fit in a third. Do you think we can fit in a third?
I reckon we could squeeze it in.
I reckon we could. Okay, so this is the third one that we're going to do. And I have kind of planned this a little bit because I wanted you to see a bit of inspiration from all of the components. So in my mind, this collection is broken off into 3 different components. You've kind of got your floral bordery bits. I know that's not what they're called, but that's how I look at them, kind of bordery florals. Then you've got your nesting kind of ornate, very pretty bits. And then we've got our kind of oval panels. So I felt if we show you a little bit of all of it this evening, you can see really which bits are kind of resonating with you guys, because it's, as always, it's a considerable purchase, isn't it? Whenever we're adding to our crafty stash. So we've got to make sure that they're things that we need and that we're inspired to use. So that's hopefully what we've managed to achieve this evening, is showing you some ideas with them. So all I've done here, self-adhesive sheet onto a piece of white card. So it's nice and sticky and ready to take on whatever it is that we wish to add to. We're going to bring in 4 of these pieces that I've already trimmed just out of white card. And they're all, of course, identical. And that gives you a little glimpse here at what we could do. We could actually take them as they are. We could layer them quite nicely as they are onto our panel. But we're not going to do that. We're going to try and make life slightly more complicated. So we're going to bring this in and we're going to start laying these around somewhat randomly. Nothing has to be too precise here at all. Something, maybe we'll bring this one in that way. And then we're going to bring back in that lid part that we had. And we're going to stick that back over the top. And we're going to give that a little push down just to make sure that them bits are nice and burnished in place. And then while that's roughly in play, we'll bring in some scissors. And this isn't our exact cut. We'll do our exact cut after the next couple of stages. This is just, and I want these bits and pieces, so I'm going to trim them away now, cut. And then we can take that top bit off again. And then these bits that we trimmed, they're not wasted. They're going to come in and they're going to infill these areas. And this is how we can get away with just doing 4 cuts to do the whole panel. Because should we go with that one? Oh, I think that might be quite nice up there. We'll bring that one in from there. And then down here, maybe, I don't know, I reckon we could possibly get away with that bit coming in over the edge there. And then over here, we'll add in that bit. And then I think I'm happy with that. I think that'll do. So again, we'll bring in our cover sheet. We'll give those bits just a good push down, make sure that they're in place. And then we'll trim against these. We're just going to turn it over now and trim off the excess. And again, we don't have to do this precisely, because once I'm finished, I would put it onto a guillotine and trim the panel to the size I want it to be. So I never do this exact. It's always slightly too big. And then I can favourite the bit I like or favouritize the piece I like. But if we take these bits off now, when we go in with the next stage, we don't have to worry that there's going to be any mess attaching itself to any areas that we don't want it to be. And then this is, oh, I'm going to let you choose. Oh, are you ready? Do you want this in candy pink, wild wisteria, vintage chrome, or magpie gold? The choice is yours. Or do you want all of them? Oh, all of them might be nice. Go on. Quick decisions. Gold, pink, purple, silver, or all. Or you can call them the actual names. But I'll happily settle for gold, pink, purple, or silver. You choose. You choose. I'll clean out my tray. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. My tray is full of copper.
Rosie said she had a cactus that bloomed. She said it smelled of rotting cabbages.
Oh, delightful.
That's
just what you want to
pleasant.
stick your nose in.
Exactly.
What was winning on the other, while they're voting on colour, and bear in mind you've got to keep up with that, Peter. Making it work tonight, aren't we? While they're doing that, what was your kind of winner on, what was the question we asked earlier, Harper or Jane?
Jane.
Jane won? Just, we're saying? So what kind of percentages are we looking?
Probably 60-40.
60-40 to Jane, that's quite close. Win. Harper doesn't have to cry herself to sleep tonight, clearly. What other questions have we asked? Favourite scents? I suppose you'll tell us that when they win.
Indeed.
And how are we doing for colours? Do we have a colour choice?
A lot of wisteria.
Wisteria.
A lot of other colours, but wisteria is the winner so far.
Okay, well, as I can't see the comments, we will go with wisteria and blame Pete if he's ignored you. I'm sorry. He's like that. You want to try living with it.
Wow.
Okay.
With it.
So we're going to bring in our gilding flakes and I'm going to tip these over the top. That's actually a really lovely colour choice. Very wise choice in whoever's picked this one. And then we're going to, I think I might do this with a paintbrush actually. I've got a paintbrush. Paintbrush would be nice. We'll go in and we'll burnish this down. And I'm choosing a paintbrush because it will get into all of them die cut areas. And we can just burnish this down over the top. Now, if you're not a gilding flake fan, then of course you could do this with glitters if you wanted to. You could do this with mica powders. You could do this with enchanted sprinkles. And then you could even mist it once you've done the enchanted sprinkles and let that colour the die cut. That'd be nice. We should have done that. I should have offered you that. That would have been nice. I think we might try that as well in a second. We'll see. But there's lots of different things we could have done this with. It doesn't have to just be gilding flakes, but gilding flakes certainly do pop and do look rather yummy, don't they? And they're kind of an instant Wow. Another one you can do this with, of course, is talcum powder or cornstarch, something along those lines. And then you can actually colour over the top of that as well if you wanted to. So it doesn't always have to be a kind of a medium that we add into it that you'd expect. It can be kind of random as well, as I say, with your talcs and bits like that. But it can be a nice way to just kind of take away that sticky area that's underneath. And it saves us having to stick all of these delicate bits down easily. Just go over the top of these bits too.
Sue says she needs to go shopping for a pastry brush.
Pastry brush. Oh, this
I
paint.
wasn't going to say anything.
Was you not going to say anything?
I was tempted, but I was being good.
But you've bought it up.
But I've bought it up now, so.
But you've bought it up.
Elaborate?
I'm not elaborating on nothing. I'm going to be very well behaved.
Don't go shopping just yet.
Well, she might want a pastry brush.
Well,
we should not stop a Tesco's run for a pastry brush. She might even find an acrylic block while she's there. But if you would like the paintbrush I'm using currently,
newspapers, you'd be like,
what's that? Local craft company keeps hiding acrylic blocks in Tesco's.
We could do that.
2 very strange men arrested.
It'd be very baffling, wouldn't it?
Requested to sniff Rishas on the way out.
Yeah, it'd be quite a tally of charges, wouldn't there?
All right, speak for yourself. I'm only down for sniffing the freezers and hiding the blocks. What else are you confessing? Okay, there we go. But no, the brush in question, very nice brush.
It's a nice brush.
It's a nice brush. Have you noticed the colour, Peter?
It's very much Creative Expressions colour.
It is a very nice brush. Maybe we'll chat about them next week. Maybe. I don't know.
Quick refresher, please. Emma would like to know what the question was to win the cards.
Oh, Emma. What was it? That's a very good question. Oh, I think we're going back to sniffing plants, aren't we? What's your favourite floral scent? That's your question for this evening. What's your favourite floral scent? Pete confessed ye langy lang. Was that anywhere near close?
I'm a freakies.
There's our lovely Violet.
Kim says you boys are very naughty and such a tease.
We are a bit, aren't we? I'm sorry, Kim. We've been very troublesome this evening.
You need to answer Sue's question.
Why do I need to? You're getting me in trouble again, aren't you? What is it? Where is it? You do this to me. I think he forgets. Like I've got a 2-inch screen over here, like a comment section that's about 1 inch, and I'm supposed to find a comment, and then it's on my screen. It's on about iClouds. It's not happy. It's got an iClouds message. How am I supposed to get rid of that?
Oh, we don't want that. She says, where is your very nice brush from?
Oh, I don't know, so. Tesco's. Next to the acrylic blocks between the jam rings and... What else did we have them beside the other day? Jam rings and ginger nuts, I think. In answer, Sue, in case you've decided that you really don't need to be watching us anymore because we've completely lost the plot, it is a product line that we will be bringing you next week. We have quite a few little things we're going to be bringing you next week. I can't tell you too much because I'll get the look from the left. But there is a few new bits that will be sneaking in next week with a bit of luck. And that nifty little paintbrush may just be one of those product lines that we'll be talking about. Hopefully. Okay. We did tease you all last week, I believe, that behind us on our distributor shelf we have an empty cube, which only means one thing and one thing only. It means that a new brand will be joining us here to be distributed by Creative Expressions in the not too distant future. And there has been a few things appear throughout our lives that will give you a little bit of a hint at what one of the brands that may be coming. And that paintbrush might just be one of them.
So who's going to wait till next week?
Okay. That's very well behaved, Sue. I'm
very
impressed.
Well behaved.
You can use other things. It doesn't have to be that paintbrush to do your flakes with. But I do genuinely use a paintbrush when I'm going over die cuts quite often because it just makes it easier because the brush will get into all the nitty gritty bits and take it out. You will have seen for many years we've used little sponges that used to come from Creative Expressions. We're yet to track these down, but you can use sponges and bits like that as well. But I do genuinely, if I'm working with a die cut, the sponge tends to just go over the top. The brush will tend to get in and hook out any flakes from around the areas. So it's just kind of personal choice into what you're working with and what you're doing. But I do genuinely like a paintbrush. Okay, That completes card number 3. And this one, of course, was done with our gilding flakes. And that one is the colour that I don't have here. And I can't remember the name of it. But it is our lovely coppery shade. Do you remember the name, Pete? Is it rose gold by any chance? I think it might be rose gold. I haven't got that pot in here. Or there might be one in the tray beside you, actually. These were being evicted.
Rose pink.
Here we are. I had to evict these to clear my shelf for the new incoming brand, you see. So these are the ones, these are rose gold, which has been used on this one, and this one is candy pink. What do you prefer, actually, while we're chatting colours and bits? Now you can see it complete. I know you asked for the wild wisteria, actually, so I'll bring that one in as well, because we haven't completed that. But if you had to choose wild wisteria, rose gold, or candy pink, now you can see all 3 in their panel form. Which one is your favourite? Where would you go? Or maybe if you was in a shop buying them as a completed card, which colourway would you radiate to more? Just genuinely interested. Let us know in the comments while we run through a couple more bits and bobs this evening before we leave you in peace. And then Pete will pick our winner to send out all 3 cards to. That's not a bad little haul for one night, is it? 3 cards. So the 3 cards in question we will send to you, obviously, are these 3. So you've got your landscape minty one, your portrait pinky one, and then your recently done gilding flake one. And they're the trio that will pop in the post. So again, all you need to let us know is what's your favourite floral scent if you haven't already. And that can be whatever it may choose to be in your little world. Did you actually confess a complete one, Pete? Complete favourite scent for yourself?
Freesias.
Oh, it was Freesias, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
stick
it
with
might
them.
be lavender.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I love lavender.
Mm.
And I think this is when you go back to childhood memories.
I think they'll provoke little thoughts, don't they? And like you say, memories.
Well, we had, so tangent, forgive. We grew up on a very rough council estate at this stage of my life. Have you ever been told this, Pete? I don't think.
I wonder where the lavender's going to tie in.
It will tie in, I promise. Very rough council estate. There was 3 Tims, and each of them dealt things that you shouldn't deal. It was rough, but good rough, lovely, happy memories rough, but it was rough. But there was a very posh family that lived and they were the ones who had bought their council house, and they got a nice brick wall around it, and it was all very, very posh. And they had a big lavender bush in the front garden, and we used to sit on the wall, and we was allowed to sit on the wall, but you weren't allowed to go anywhere near anything else. And somebody would always inevitably get pushed in the lavender bush most nights, and then smell of lavender. So it always brings back happy memories and kind of funny memories, because they'd yell at us for landing in their lavender bush, which now looking back as an adult, fully understand why you wouldn't want somebody landing in your lavender bush every night. So I kind of get it. But when you was a teenager, or younger than that, because we moved out there when I was about 12, I think, it was a happy memory of the smell of lavender. So yeah, good nights outside as a child, chatting in the square. There used to be a big square in the middle of it all. And it's actually where my sister met her partner and the father to all 3 of her children. So
nice.
happy memories in that little square, long time ago. So yeah, okay, that was my trip down memory lane to complete this evening. There are 3 cards. We'll let Pete pick a winner. In case you've joined us late and you forgot times, dates and everything else, while I'm reminiscing over the scent of lavender, let's chat the new release for you, just in case you've missed it. So this is Sue's brand new collection, launching exclusively on Hobby Maker on Saturday. There is 2 oval panels, 3 floral borders, 2 nesting dies and a set of corners, and that is your brand new exclusive collection coming to Hobby Maker this Saturday with the wonderfully super talented, very creative, amazing Gwen Fletcher. She will be there all on Saturday at 1 PM and 5 PM, bringing you inspiration with this collection. If you're not already sick of all of us by now, we will be back as well on Hobby Maker on Friday at 3 PM and 6 PM, and that will be me. I'll be with you, bringing you inspiration from the Cuddly Clan and the Gardening Collection. So there are a couple of bonus shows that we've added into Hobby Maker's schedule. So that's Friday at 3 PM and 6 PM, but Gwen will be there on Saturday with this brand new collection at 1 PM and 5 PM. Something else you really should know about as well while we're chatting all things upcoming. There is a demo day coming up. I know we've just had our demo day this Saturday gone at Craft Bliss, So which thank you all for attending. To those of you that went, it was a hugely successful day. And I know that Gwen, Barry and Julie had a really fun day and was really pleased at the turnout and how happy you all seemed to be and how much you all enjoyed it. Genuinely, the feedback's been off the charts. So thank you very much for attending that day. But it is now time that we start to prepare to send Gwen out on her travels once again. So on the 18th of April, not that far away, Saturday the 18th of April, she will be heading to Gilly's Crafts, which is in Ellesmere Port, which if that's new to you as it was to me, because I'm very lost in most of life, it's not that far from Liverpool. About an hour outside of Liverpool, did we work out last time, Pete?
Think so.
In that area somewhere, not far. So if it's something you've not heard of before, you're looking to that area to find your B&Bs to head to. And I know that a lot of you do travel to the demo days to support Gwen and to support the brand and see different inspirations. So Gwen will have 2 collections with her on that day, bringing you lots and lots of inspiration, lots and lots of fun and tips and techniques. So put that one in your diary if it's one you'd like to attend. Gilly's Crafts in Ellesmere Port, Saturday the 18th of April. And that's all of my updates for this evening and all of my news I've got to bring you. So the last bit, Pete, is your all-important winner's decision. Are you ready?
Quick question from Deborah. Evening, Deborah. The butterfly die, is it Sue Wilson's, please?
Oh, the butterfly I've been adding on, this one. Let me give you a little flash just to clarify it's the right one, Deborah. This one on the top here, this is my butterfly. So it's called, Pete, come on, question time. Elegant butterfly.
It is the very first die you produced.
Which is code
Elegant JRCD0001.
Correct.
And it's called Elegant Butterflies.
Correct.
Part of the Creatures of the World collection.
Correct.
Nailed it.
Look at you go.
After
Anyone would think you named and did these. I'm impressed. He does. He's in charge of all of the naming and the numbering. So this is why I often reach to Pete, because he's got a much better memory than me and was actually there for that bit. But it was literally the very first die we did as Jamie Rodgers Crafts. It will be on the shows on Saturday on Hobby Maker, but it is one that has been out of well, 2 years now nearly. So you will be able to find it at stockists all around the world too. But it's one that we've kind of built on into many different collections. So that butterfly appears in many different places, including in DL panels and elegant ovals and different bits. But that was kind of where we started with the butterfly. Any other questions, or are we ready for your winning?
No, all good, I think.
Thank you for your question, Deborah.
Let's
pop on over to Pete and then pick a winner.
The pressure. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And silly Mondays, as they are, aren't they? We like them. Good bit of fun.
They're relaxed.
Anyway, winner this evening is someone who chose Jasmine. Very pretty flower, Jasmine.
Oh, lovely.
Angela Webster. Congratulations, Angela. If you want to drop us an email at jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com, let us know if you'd like the card signed and we'll get them popped in the post for you. But yeah, thank you all for taking part and sharing all your scents of flowers. Lots of love for freezers. Hyacinths. I forgot about hyacinths.
Oh, a hyacinth. Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful smells, aren't they? Only for about a week, but you know. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. It's been a good night.
Did anybody else confess any random floral related stories, or was I out on my own with my council estate lavender bush dye?
No, not as yet. But I think they may come later.
Feel free to add them. We're always up for a random story or two. If you two have something to share with us, we're always open to it. Speaking of which colour won, Pete, out of the 3 of the gilded flakes?
Gold.
The gold.
The gold one. Seems to be the
Gold
favoured
one. So that was the
gold.
rose gold. Very, very nice choice. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you. Okay, so once again, that's your collection going to be launching on Saturday exclusively with Hobby Maker with Gwen. Gwen will be in the house for those 2 hours to bring you inspiration with these. Do not forget Thursday evening, we will not be live because I will be in a car travelling to Hobby Maker. So we will not be live with you. I don't know if many of you know this. I don't suppose you do. And nor do you always need to, but I'm going to tell you so you do. It's about 4.5 hours drive for us to get from Great Yarmouth to Hobby Maker and Redditch. So when I say to you I won't be live Thursday evening, it's literally because we will get in a car about 6ish after work, and then drive up there to be ready. And then on the next day, we're not on, I believe, till 3, are we? But actually, we go into meetings before they go live at 1. So we actually have to be there from about 11, 12. So it just means driving up in the morning's a bit treacherous and always a bit tricky. So that's why we go up the evening before, hence why we will not be live with you on Thursday. Now, something I do just want to share with you before we go is the die of the week, because I'll get in trouble if I forget this. Tracy will have a moan.
Tracy's watching.
Is she? She'll have a moan
She
if
was.
I forget.
She
She might have gone by now. She's been with us all day. Poor woman must be sick of us. She's been with us all day and then watches us all night. I do feel for her. I'm going to give you a little glimpse. This is the die of the week this week. This is the Beach Lighthouse from Sue Wilson. Now this again, as always, means that it's going to feature on our posts every day at 9 AM on the Creative Expressions page. You will get to see all of these cards posted, so you'll be able to have a closer look at them, and you'll be able to save the pictures for further inspiration. These are created by Sharon, Ian and Siobhan. The recommended retail price for this die is $16.99, but I know you'll be able to find it at some stockists with a whopping 20% off as we celebrate die of the week. So if this is one that you've not seen before, it's got 4 dies within the set. Its size is 12.1 by 12.1 centimetres. It is part of a series and there are more available for you to interchange the panels throughout, but it's a really fun one to be creative with, as you can see. Our trio of designers for this one, Sharon, Ian and Siobhan, have had a lot of fun mixing it up with different mediums and colourways and styles to create several stunning cards. And as I say, these will be posted every day at 9 AM on the Creative Expressions page to give you just a little glimpse of inspiration with it. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to pop them on the post and the team will help answer them for you. Okay, we're going to leave you in peace now, and we will see you on Friday for the shows on Hobby Maker at, I forgot the times, but I think I've told you a million times, 3 and 6. And then Gwen will see you on Hobby Maker on Saturday at 1 and 5. So please don't forget, we won't be here Thursday, but we will be back here with you live again next Monday for our Monday Night Natter. From myself, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for giving us your time, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining us. See you when we see you next week.
Night all.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye.